Hey everyone, and welcome to the final module of this course, module 15. Now, in this module, we will be capping off the e-commerce app. So up until this point, we've not even seen what it looks like in the browser because we haven't created the templates. We'll be creating them today. So we'll be working with the front end a lot more and understanding the fruits of our labor, how it all ties up, how the buttons work, how it moves items from the store shelf to the cart, and how we pay for it. Good stuff. Really excited to look at this one. Really excited to work along with you. Let's jump into it for one last time. Let's go. Okay, this is GitHub. This is the repository, the final module of this course. It's been a long one. It's been a hard one. I hope you've been following along and I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope you've picked things up. What do? We're going to main, find module 15, click module 15 and open up steps and open up module 15. Okay, that's how we follow along. These are the documentation pages, steps for the course. If you haven't followed along, that's how we do it. It's nice and easy. You've got access to all the code, you've got access to all the videos. Pause, rewind, come back to them, come back to the code, clone it down on your machine. Do what you like with it. The code is there for you. I hope that is a great resource. This is the first time I've said this in the course, but I hope that you find this as a great resource and it gets new starters up and running quickly, and it's a good resource for those that are kind of Django ninjas that have done this for a long while, because there's bits and pieces in here that you might not necessarily have done before, or a different way of looking at it, right? I always find there's 101 ways to skin a cat in Django, and you get so focused on doing it your way, you can sometimes ignore the other ways of doing it. So, module 15. Let's look at it. Let's go into my VS Code instance. You can see I'm open up on module 15. I do it in VS Code. It's great. I've said it 101 times in this course already. It acts as an IDE because you've got all the extensions and it's all good. But when you have an MD file, you can see it as a preview and it looks like this. It renders it really, really well in the screen. So first things first, make sure your repository, your root directory looks like this. Just make sure it looks like this. If it doesn't, it probably won't work. Okay. In fact, when I fire up the server in a little while and look at the browser, for all I know, mine doesn't work. I'm following along with you. If it doesn't work, we'll debug it. Who cares, right? This is all fun. So here we go. If it doesn't line up, just clone down the repository, use the README file, learn how to do that, and then pull down from Origin Module 15. That'll get you everything that you need at this point. Cool. We're following on from the last module. We've got all our static files now. We've got our Stripe.js, we've got CSS, we've got the alert.js. So we're widening Toaster for messages, for little notifications. So it's all nice and pretty. Okay. What are we doing now? We're creating some templates. The last piece of the puzzle. Actually, when I tell you I work for a certain order, so requirements, so packages, models, views, URLs, templates, static files. Sometimes static files and templates kind of merge and you do them in different orders. Depends on what you're doing. I done the static files because it made more sense in terms of this course, but really you do the templates and then static files, right? Good. In the e-commerce templates directory, this one here, you need one called items, new file. Did I already create that? I've already created it. There we go, create that in module 13 as a demo. Okay, so I'm going to keep going back to GitHub for this because it allows me just to click this little icon here. So items, click, VS Code, items, paste, save. We'll come back to the code in a second. Most of these HTMLs are very similar, okay? You're going to have a funky one in checkout and things like that, but essentially they're pretty much the same. They're all extending base and they've got different head and different footer blocks that we can inject JS and CSS, and then we'll come to that. Let's just go ahead and make them and we'll come back. So items, so we now need one called item. So let's go in, sorry, let's go in GitHub. There we go. Save as. We'll call it item. Control A, V, S. Save as. Next one. Cart. Get the code. Oh, there we have it. Boom. Drop that in here. Control A, V, S. Save as. Bit repetitive, just follow along. You can always skip forward, no dramas. check out. We'll look at this one. We will be looking at some of these because it's important. Okay, and that it kind of explains a lot about Django template language, which is important. Right, orders. I'm waffling along now, so oh, don't want that. Save as. This one's orders. Next one. So we order. I would have said, yeah, order. Remember this one here that we looked at just then. Orders is a list view. Order is a detail view. So the code is slightly different. We're referencing different contexts. There we go. Order is now in. Remember, look, we're looking at objects, whereas in orders, we're looking at orders. Did I change that? I just saved over orders. No, I didn't. The code is wrong. Right, okay, that's a bug. I'll have to fix that. Don't worry. In fact, what I'll do, let's have a look at items. There we go. That's different, right? So if I go, stick that in orders, call this your orders. The context doesn't change, right? So as a list view, you get query set. That's what the list view is calling. So I know the context is object list. So this is just a list of lines, whereas in the item view is a list of items. But when you do a for loop over object lists, you still get the object, right? Okay, so it might have some problems with object.images. We'll cover that, don't worry. But it looks like the code in GitHub is wrong. I'll have to change that. Depends on when you're watching this course. There's a big job changing all of the steps and everything else. On the back of this, I'll just do all the debugging. Eventually, the course will be bang on. But look, watch the videos. You can see what I'm doing. You can change it for yourself, right? So that's now orders. Items is done. Items is done. Let's go through here. Order. Is that? That is it. That's all we need to do. Let's look through the code. Okay, so what have we got here? What have we got? We've got items. First and foremost, this is items. Let's go ahead and we got the server running. Rendered, render, response, render. What have we got? What have we got here? Let's open up an incognito screen. Let's see what's going on. Right, localhost 8000, right? Let's sign in. Coding.com. I already created the super user, guys. If you've been following along, you'll know what I did there. Submit. Okay. Hide. So this is my user info, happy days, shop items. Right, we haven't got any items because we haven't got any items, okay? Let's go ahead and create some. Let's go into admin. What have we got? Items for car, invoice lines, we've got items, okay? So let's go into items. Going to add an item. So we created the models in module 10. We registered them to admin. So we now have the ability to create items. Okay, so what will we call this one? We'll call this baseball cap. Okay, just a wee baseball cap for this course. Active, yeah. So that's the status field that gets added by Django extensions. So that's the activate. Is it the activator class? I forget now. But anyway, it's in the module 10. So that adds status and it also adds the activate date and deactivate date. Okay, so if I was to deactivate it and then save it, it would add a deactivated date to the database. Okay, we're going to do that. Keep it as active. Image, so it does default to something, but what we'll do, kind of C drive, so users, it's going to where I've got it, development. So what we in Django course, Media. So this is what, oh, there's nothing in media. I must have moved them all across. No dramas. Okay, whilst I'm looking on the screen, okay, I added an avatar against my account, right? So when, if you remember when we were creating the models for the user profile, we said we save the images to a file called, or sorry, a directory called avatar. If we look in there, you can see that it's saved those. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, so when you save, it saves it to the media files. Happy days. That's just a kind of capping that off. So there we go. We've got baseball cap there. Let's use that. Stock. What should we have? 20. Variable price. Let's go with £12.50. I don't know if this is going to work. Saving it another. It's added. Shirt. Just an plain did coding shirt for that course. Okay. We've got active, choose an image. I've got an image for it. It will default to one of those anyway. I'll say we've got 15. Variable price, how much? 13.20. Great British pounds. Okay, let's have a little look at what that looks like. What is actually handy, actually? Well, let me show you. So if you click one, got some options up here. Got history. I'll show you the history of that item. Obvious, right? It's also got a little link here. View on site. If you look at the bottom right, it might work. Let's give it a go. Syntax error. Template tags is not registered tag library. It must be. Okay, we seem to have a bit of an issue with the template tags. No dramas. We'll get around that, even if I have to pause it and debug it. I believe I had this problem before. So when you're creating the template tags, I might need a constructor, I might need an init file in there. I'll have a look, but for some reason, those template tags are not included in the registered template tag library. Okay, so I'll do something about it. And I'll debug it and come back to you. But if you click that, ideally what that'll do, that will take you to the detail page for that particular item. That's what I was going to show you. But if I go into localhost, I'm already signed in. If I go into shop items, it will probably come up with an error now because of the, no, it doesn't. It will come up in the detail page as well. So this is our list page. We've created two items. At the bottom here, can you see that? Probably not. At the bottom, you can't quite see it. Let me minimize a bit. Can you see that? That we've got some pagination. So if you've got more than 10 items on the page, it will come up some icons and links to take you to page 2. Okay. So it has got pagination, right? So, but this is page 1 of 1. You can see that. So we've got baseball cap. So it renders an image. The description, if you click that, you can see in the bottom left of the screen, just about, it takes you to localhost/item/baseball cap. We will have a look in a second, because that's the absolute URL, right? That's the URL. Let's look at the templates, items, HTML. Okay, so we're extending from base, we're loading static. Okay. That could be why, actually. Let me have a look. E-commerce tags. Okay. Right. So this is the details page. So we're doing a for loop. So this is a template tag for Django templates. So we're looping through objects list. Now this is another reason why we use the debug panel, because if we look in templates and click in context, sorry, not context, we go into shop items, go into templates and debug panel and click in toggle context. Okay. You have a whole bunch of context that we have access to, right? We added something to a context processor which won't appear, and it does appear in here, called installed apps, right? So these are all our installed apps. That's what we have access to in the navigation bar. So you can see here, we're saying if e-commerce is in installed apps, then do something. We've got a CSRF token we have access to. We have debug. This is true. Okay, but what we also have is an object list. That is what our list view, our generic list view, is adding to the context, okay? So we're doing a loop through that. We're looping through each object and doing something. Okay, so for each object in object list, we create a div. So this is just, all part of HTML design. Don't worry about it too much. I've added CSS to it. That's why it looks the way it does, right? So we've got an image tag. we're getting the object image.url. That's how you access the URL of the image that was saved to the database. Okay, if you just had image, it wouldn't do anything. You need object.url. I think you might even be able to use object.path, but object.url works. The alt, which is the alt attribute, we're just using the title. Width 100, so the title of the object here, you've got the price, which is object.variable price. So we added that. What does it say? 1250, right? So it's been rendered nicely. Okay. And then we've got the object description, and then you've got a button, right? And the button's got href to an A tag, and it's object get absolute URL. Now you can do that another way. You can write that in a very different way, and you can use the URL template tag. You can go URL, and it's e-commerce item. Remember, that's the name of the URL. And then you put slug equals object dot slug. Okay, and we're basically constructing a URL from the URL tag, from the name of the URL that we want to call and the slug of this particular object. That is the syntax that you must use. And hopefully I've got that right. It should. Yeah, there you go. So if you hover over it again, same again, bottom left, localhost 8000 item baseball cap. So it's one of the same, but because we've got the get absolute URL in our model, we can just reference the get absolute URL. Okay, we know it works, right? So it worked a minute ago. Cool. Then we've got page nation. So this is straight from the Django website. So I've just constructed that to say, look, if page object, previous page number, now we've got access to all of this. We've got access to all of this in template context, page object, page nator. So it's all added into the context by the list view. That's why I like using them. Okay, so that's the list view. Let's go in here. Doesn't like it. One sec. Let me debug it because we want to test this, right? Okay, this is a bit risky. I should have tested this and then unpaused. But basically, look, whenever you're in Django, if you hit brick wall, if you hit dead end, go to Django. Check out their docs. They're very, very intuitive. We're writing a custom template tag here. I'm looking at the docs and I notice a glaring mistake. Template tags, you need a constructor. I did say this before I paused. Maybe we do need that. So we're not instantiating the template tags. We need to instantiate them. We need to make Python and Django needs to know that this is added into the template tags directory. So we need this file here. Don't need anything in it. We just need it in there. New file. So dunder init dunder.py. Okay. Will that work? Maybe, maybe not. What's going on here? Let's just close down the server, wire it up again. Will it work? Will it not? Let's have a look. There you go. Lucky. Stops it from being too clunky. Let's move this. Right, so this is the detail page. So this is the items. So it's 1250. You've got stock of 2 by all account. Did I put 2? I thought I put 20. Oh, no, I put 2. Let's change that to 20. I don't want 2. There we go, stock of 20. Right, I want 3. And here we go, we've got a little button here. This is our template tag button, okay? We've added this button. So when I click that, it should go ahead and add this into my cart. Should. There we go. See that little, there? Yeah, typical. Let me hide. How's that? Is that better? Let's go again. Right, let's go 2. You'll see the little, the message from Toaster is popping up behind my head. I've written it to appear in the bottom right, okay? So if I put add, now you see the stock drop down to 17. It was 20, I added 3. 20 left 3, 17. So if I had 2 now, I'd expect that to say 15. And my cart will then have 5 items in it. Add. There you go, see that? Baseball cap. It's a short message. Let's go back into items. Let's go add shirt as well, okay? Got 15 of them, I want 2. Happy days, right. So if we now go into our cart, will this work? There we go. It doesn't render too well like that. Look, you've seen the messages, let's make it big. Oh. Again, this is just another list view, okay? So what we can do here, I've got these other buttons, okay? So this is the version 2 buttons. So I've added 5, 3 plus 2 is 5, so we've got 5 baseball caps in our cart, and we've got 2 shirts. Now, I can remove them clicking this button. I believe, I can't remember, this was a few weeks ago now. There we go. So by clicking this, that's a different designer one. That's the version 2. So I click that, it removes those 5 and it adds it back to stock. With any luck, if I go back in items, we should be back up to 20. 20, okay? Took the 5 out of my cart, put them back in the store. So I don't want 5 or 1, okay? So back here, I should now expect 1 in my cart and 2 shirts. There we go. So we've got 3 in our shopping cart. We've got 38.9. So £38.90, which is, I mean, I could calculate, it sounds about right. So they're both over a tenner. 2, yeah, that's about right. Okay, go to checkout. Actually, if you go into orders, there'll be nothing in there. We haven't got anything in there. We know we haven't ordered anything. So we go to our cart, we go to checkout. Is this going to work? I hope it does. Right, it's looking good. Okay, the card element is looking exactly how I'd expect it to see. See how it kind of, the JavaScript and everything kind of come together? Looks nice. That's because of the JavaScript. If you look in your inspection panel, no errors. This is all good, okay? You can see we've got £12.50 and £26.40. It'd be nice if that was displaying the item, the object's name. It probably should. I've just got some code errors. So what we're looking at, templates, e-commerce, checkout. And at the top here, we should have card. There are card types, don't worry about that. So this is the checkout, right? Object absolute URL, this is the button. Looks like we haven't got the object, item, content object. That could be a hangover. One sec. I had this coded slightly different before. 1 second. There we go. Happy days. No, so I had it different. I was using generic foreign key when I was first designing this, and then I just kind of whittled it back down to a normal foreign key. So rather than having a content object, which is the field name in generic foreign key, I've just got a foreign key. So I just changed it, right? And there you go, it's appeared, right? If you click that, it will take you, I mean, there's a link to the checkout there. Click X, again, same button. Remember the item button version 2? We're rendering it there as well. So one button, one element can be put anywhere in the web page, providing you do post the different item IDs and things like that to the button. And then if I click it, it would just remove it, okay? Let's go ahead and put a card. So the dummy card in Stripe is 4242, all the 42s. Providing you've got a expiry date in the future, so January 23, that'll do. CSV doesn't matter, zip code doesn't matter in test. It's saying pay $38.90 with this new card. Let's click that. Let's see what happens. Saying loading, which we'd expect it to, because we've added loading to the JavaScript. Right, did you see that? It said in the bottom right, success. Okay, so we have now added a card and made a payment. Let's say if we look in shop items, the stock should still be 19. Okay, and the items should be 13. I mean, that's correct, right? But now in orders, we should be seeing something. Okay, don't worry about this. I mean, the reason it's not rendering stuff is because if you remember the orders, so this is objects. I would probably, what we got here, let's see if I can work this out quickly. So models, we've got the line object. So the line, we're looking for item. So going to objects. So object.item. Let's go ahead and do this. Sorry, 1 second. No, we don't. The amount must be from the line, not that. So it's object amount. Oh, hang on, what's the sec? Doesn't matter. We'll worry about that later. Object item description. Object item. Is this right? Probably. Let's have a look. There we go. Right. Okay. So yeah, it's because it wasn't rendering the image because it was looking at the line model table rather than the item table. So you have to reference the foreign key. So again, this is what we've bought. Okay. So that's the total price of what we bought. That's the total price. You click that, it'll take you through to the order page. That's incorrect. So what we want is not object. What we want is URL. Let's close that off there. We want e-commerce order. And then we want ID equals object dot item dot ID. Let's try that. There we go. Happy days. So it's just a little bit different. So the order HTML is slightly different. So we've got the date, we've got a total price, and then we've got a quantity. Okay. So just to cap things off quickly, let's look at the checkout. So the checkout HTML is slightly different. Okay. So we are extending base, but we're bringing in tags, bringing in math filters and DJ money, just because they're the filter tags from those libraries. But you can see here in the block tag, look at what we're posting through. We're posting through a whole bunch of Stripe, JavaScript. We're posting through the Stripe JS here, the Stripe key. So we're creating that Stripe key variable and adding it into the template so we can access it in the Stripe JavaScript. See what we're doing now? We're adding it to extend for. So we're adding this to the base HTML. Then we've got all of this funky stuff going on, right? So actually, I'll show you this before I'm done. If we've got sources saved, so it would display a table of cards that we can use to make payment. Because we haven't got any, it didn't display any. I'll show what that does in a second. It'll always show you a form for it, the option of using a new card. But if you've got sources, you can actually click a card, right? So, and then you've got a cart. So that's what we're doing. And here we're extending the head. So we're adding the CSS for Stripe. We're extending the footer. So this has got unique JavaScript and CSS in this particular file, but it all works. So you have access to all this code. Don't worry about that. Let's go ahead and just test this new old card out. So let's have one shirt in here, or one. Add that. Let's go to my cart. Oh, go to my cart. You see I've got one in there. Go to the checkout. There we go. Right, so we can add a new card, or we can pay. So this is default. If we had two cards, you can select. You could see this in the template. You would select which one's default, okay? And then, but this will always say pay with the default card. So remember, we've got that view where you can say update source. What that does is it updates the card to say, if I've got 10 cards, this one here is my default. So you can only pay with your default card, okay? So pay £13.20 with your default card, which this one is. It says true. Pay. Oh, it's not coming up with load, but it does work anyway. Okay, so let's just pay that. Should have another order in there. Happy days. We just bought this one. Paid for then £26.40. Two of. Oh, hang on, it's not that. Is it this one? Did I buy two? I might have to debug that. Look, the code's there. There might be bugs. Go through them. This was all about showing you the steps, the mindset you need to get into to design the models, design the views, and construct code that will work for a user story. And that is what's happened here. It's all good. If you now go into your Stripe dashboard, by the way, you will have new customers, you'll have invoices and everything else. Okay? Really, 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 really good. Let's go and do that. Stripe. Log in. Let's go ahead. Let's see if this is going to work. Sign in. Dashboard. There we go. Right. Okay. So we're in decoding. Okay. So you can see here today we've had a few transactions. But if you go in your dashboard, you can go in your customer. Look, just added all of these. Okay. Or sorry, added this one here. All of those are in testing, but this is the one I added today. Okay, look, we just made some payments, okay? Oh, so what we got? Stripe, docs demo. Oh, sorry, this is March, forget that. Related guest payments, don't worry about that. This is what was important. So the first payment was $38.90. The second one was $13.20. You can download a PDF, all this fancy stuff. They got recent activity, that would be firing webhooks to a URL if you had it set up, but we haven't got it set up. So that is it. Thank you very, very much for following along in this course. Please like this video, add a comment, subscribe to my channel. Really, really, really helps. I really hope this has been good for you and you picked up some little snippets that's going to help you to become a good Django developer. Like I say, thanks for watching. This is module 15. That is it. It's the end of the course. Thank you very much. See you again. Bye-bye.